Hey guys, it's Stu. I'm back, but not really. I'm making an Iceberg video for the first time, and I hope you like it. I will probably resume animations in the future, but for now, this is what I'm going to be doing. I'd like to give a big thanks to the creator of this iceberg, Feelcy9908. I found this iceberg on r/iceberg charts on Reddit, and I thought I'd make a video on it because I really like biology. This video only covers the two first tiers of the iceberg, so without further ado, let's get into it. The first topic is the woolly mammoth. The woolly mammoth is an extinct species of elephant that can be found throughout Europe, Northern Asia, and North America. Woolly mammoths stood about 3 to 3.7 meters, or 10 to 12 feet tall. They also weighed about 7 to 8 tons. Mammoths are closely related to present-day Asian elephants and broke away from their last common ancestor about 6 million years ago. Madagascar. Madagascar is the fourth largest island in the world, being about the size of Texas. Although located some 250 or 400 kilometers from the African continent, Madagascar's population is primarily related not to African people, but rather to those of Indonesia. The people of Madagascar are known as the Malagasy people. The island developed political, economic, and cultural links with the French-speaking countries of Western Africa. And yes, the people of Madagascar do like to move it. Dogs domesticated themselves. We hunted animal meat when humans were predominantly hunters and gatherers. Due to this, wolves would make their way to the periphery of the encampment to scavenge for scraps. The nicer, more polite wolves had a better chance of getting some of the food that the humans offered. Over time, humans and wolves developed a mutualistic relationship. If you want to learn more about stuff like this, I suggest watching the video about pre-contact dogs by one of my favorite creators, Trey the Explainer. I'll leave the link down below. The Ice Age. There have been at least 5 significant ice ages in Earth's history.
They do this every year!
Humans evolved significantly during the most recent glaciation period, emerging as the dominant land animal. During an ice age, colder global temperatures lead to recurring glacial expansion across the Earth's surface. An ice age causes enormous changes to the Earth's surface. Glaciers reshape the landscape by picking up rocks and soil, eroding hills during their unstoppable push, and depressing the Earth's crust. These ages are capable of lasting hundreds of millions of years. Despite global warming, the ice sheets in Antarctica and Greenland still remain. The animal kingdom. The animal kingdom is primarily every living thing on the planet. Vertebrates and invertebrates are the two primary categories in which we classify living beings. They are then broken down into phyla, genus, and species. There are also subkingdoms, which are located at the base of the phylogenetic tree of the animal kingdom. These are the Parazoa and the Eumetazoa. This is also a very broad topic, so I suggest watching these videos by Natural World Facts on YouTube. I'll put this link down below as well. My personal favorite videos include the one about cnidarians, echinoderms, and bilaterians. Charles Darwin. Charles Robert Darwin was an English naturalist, geologist, and biologist widely known for his contributions to evolutionary biology. Darwin defined evolution as a descent with modification, which is the idea that species change over time. The mechanism that Darwin proposed for evolution is natural selection. Darwin's finches from the Galapagos archipelago have historic importance in the field of evolutionary biology. These finches provided fundamental insights into the natural selection and adaptive radiation process. This led to the discovery of the Big Bird lineage by Rosemary and Peter Grant. I recommend this video by Trey the Explainer about rapid evolution. 99% of all animals are extinct. The way this is phrased is kind of unbelievable, but what this means is that 99% of all organisms that have ever lived on Earth are extinct. During the Permian-Triassic extinction, or the Great Dying, more than 90% of Earth's species went extinct. Birds are related to dinosaurs. Birds belong to the theropod meaning two-legged, group of dinosaurs that included Tyrannosaurus rex, Baryonyx, and the Spinosaurus. Weirdly enough, chickens are the closest living descendants to dinosaurs. Zoology. Zoology is the study of animals, their habitats, classification, and distribution. Pretty self-explanatory. Some of the most famous zoologists include Charles Darwin and Jane Goodall. PETA. PETA, or the People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, is an American animal rights nonprofit organization that does not have the best reputation. The Deep Sea. The deep sea is, broadly, the ocean depth where light begins to fade at an approximate depth of 200 meters. This cool website that I found shows the different types of species that live in the deep sea. The harpy eagle. The harpy eagle is a really badass species of eagle that live in Central and South America. They also can eat monkeys and sloths, so that's not that cool, but, you know. Cockroaches can withstand 10 times more radiation than humans. With a much slower cell reproduction cycle, roaches can withstand radiation unless they are going through the molting process. A cockroach can only survive between 6 and 15 times the lethal radiation dose for humans. Just because they're like starfire doesn't mean that they're not annoying. Keystone species. A keystone species is an organism that's usually a predator that helps define an entire ecosystem. Without a keystone species, the ecosystem would be dramatically different or cease to exist altogether. Some examples of keystone species are wolves, sharks, and sea urchins.
Life, finds a way.
Life finds a way is a quote from Jurassic Park. In the movie, Dr. Malcolm is saying that no matter what happens in life, nature will always find a way to reproduce and survive, even in nature's harshest conditions. There is a lot of truth to this quote, so that's probably why it's in here. Tardigrades. I looked it up and I don't like how these things look. They look like a Pokemon that nobody wants to catch. Tardigrades are a microscopic organism that also go by the name water bear. Eukaryotes. Eukaryotes are organisms whose cells contain a nucleus and other membrane-bound organelles. You're a eukaryote, your dog's a eukaryote, your granny's a eukaryote, we're all eukaryotes. So are tardigrades, unfortunately. Mosquitoes. Mosquitoes, we all know what they are. They're the mini Dracula bugs that suck you dry like a sponge in the summer. They also carry malaria. Harambe. Harambe was a western lowland gorilla that lived in the Cincinnati Zoo. A little boy fell into his enclosure where he was dragged around by Harambe. As a result, Harambe was shot and killed out of fear for the boy's life. The boy was okay in the end, fortunately, but Harambe was dead. He was killed a day after his 17th birthday. Whales are mammals. Like humans and other land mammals, they have 3 inner ear bones and hair. They breathe air, and the females produce milk. Marine mammals are called cetaceans, and this includes whales, dolphins, and porpoises. Betta, or betta fish, I'm not really sure how to pronounce it. The beautiful, majestic, and colorful betta fish, stripped of their power by your local Petco or PetSmart. The Great Emu War. Emus were causing havoc in Western Australia back in 1932. The newly developed farmland was discovered by an estimated 20,000 emus as an excellent location for them to reproduce and find food. These emus also broke fences, allowing rabbits to get through and ruin all the crops. The locals thought it would be a good idea to just go and kill these birds. It's a pretty American approach. It's unclear how many emus died in this quote-unquote war. Some say 50, some say 200, some say 500, I'm not really sure, but in the end, emus died. David Attenborough. David Attenborough is my favorite nature documentary narrator. If I don't hear him speaking in a nature doc, I'm not watching it. Besides this, he is also an avid climate change activist. Tasmanian tiger. The thylacine, also known as the Tasmanian tiger, is an extinct carnivorous marsupial that was native to the Australian mainland in the islands of Tasmania and New Guinea. It was the only member of the family Thylacinidae to survive into modern times. Weirdly enough, they're not even related to tigers. They're just called Tasmanian tigers because they look like tigers a little bit. They have like stripes on their sides, so yeah. Sea monkeys. Sea monkeys were a core memory for those who grew up in the 80s and 90s. But they were just brine shrimp in a small plastic enclosure, so that's kind of disappointing. The caracal. The caracal is a really fierce-looking cat that's native to Africa. Don't keep these as pets, though, because you'll probably end up on the TV show Fatal Attractions. Scientific names. Scientific names, or binomial nomenclatures, are the scientific name given to an organism. Binomial nomenclatures have 2 parts, the genus and the species. The official name for a gorilla is a gorilla, and the American bison, a bison. Coral is not a plant. Corals do not photosynthesize because they're actually animals. The branch or mound that we often call a coral is actually made of thousands of tiny animals called polyps. These polyps are categorized as cnidarians. Other cnidaria include sea anemone, Portuguese man-o'-war, and every single kind of jellyfish. Pepe the Frog. Pepe the Frog is a cartoon character that has become a popular internet meme. Unfortunately, this has recently been used in a harmful way around the internet, and it's kind of disappointing. I have no idea why this is on the Iceberg, but I imagine that the people that put it on here just put it on here as a joke, so we're just gonna move on. The water table. The water table is an underground line separating the soil's surface from the region where groundwater seeps into rock crevices and voids. At this limit, the water pressure and atmospheric pressure are equal. Because there's oxygen in the soil, the unsaturated zone is also known as the zone of aeration. Shallow water marine life. Starfish, sea anemones, clams, mussels, and small fish are a few of the creatures that can be found in this ecosystem. Additionally found in shallow marine habitats, hydrozoa or hydroids consume the local zooplankton and algae. Shallow water environments are home to aquatic species that are always submerged and capable of floating and swimming. Many of these species migrate into deeper, warmer waters in the winter, while others burrow into the mud below the surface until the warm weather returns. Moby Dick. Moby Dick, or The Whale, is an 1851 novel by the writer Herman Melville. This book is recognized as one of the most important American novels of all time. I have never read this book because the title kind of deterred me from reading it, but the reviews say it's great, so I believe that it's a pretty good book. Mr. Beast's Team Seas. Mr. Beast's Team Seas is a global cooperative fundraiser that Mr. Beast and Mark Rober established as a successor to Team Trees. The charity event was successful in raising over $33 million. I like the concept of this, but I have no idea why it's on the iceberg. And with that, that wraps up the first layer of the iceberg, and now we'll be moving on to the second, the gloaming skies. Rats laugh. Rat laughter comes in the form of high-frequency 50 kHz ultrasonic calls, or chirps. This is how they communicate. Koala fingerprints have the closest fingerprints to humans. In terms of fingerprints, we are more aware of their development rather than their origins. The Australian police originally worried that human, koala, and chimpanzee prints at crime scenes would be confused because of how similar they look. The mantis shrimp has the fastest punch. With just one hit, they can tear through a snail's shell or knock off an arm of a crab. Their club-like appendages accelerate quicker than a gunshot. These punches reach approximately the same acceleration as a .22 caliber bullet at speeds of 50 miles per hour. Female lions do 90% of the hunting. The lioness shields herself from the heat by having a flexible body and lacking a mane. A female lion's body is perfect for hunting due to her longer, sleeker frame. Puffins use sticks to scratch their bodies. Although this is very cute, only 2 puffins have ever been recorded doing this. Koalas sleep up to 22 hours a day. They sleep so much due to the high energy needed to break down poisonous leaves in their food. Due to their inactivity during the day, koalas are considered nocturnal. Giraffes have purple tongues. Because there is extra melanin present, the color is darker. It shields them and aids in avoiding sunburns. Adult cats only meow at humans. Adult cats only meow at people, they don't actually meow at other cats. Giant anteaters have 2-foot-long tongues. Anteaters are edentate, or toothless, animals. Anteaters eat about 3,500 ants and termites a day, and they use their long tongue to aid them with this. The heart of a shrimp is located in their head. Given that the internal organs are potentially safer in the head region, this may be an evolutionary advantage. A snail can sleep for 3 years. Since snails require moisture to survive, they can actually hibernate for up to 3 years if the weather is unfavorable. You can hypnotize a frog. You can also hypnotize chickens, horses, dogs, and cats. Flamingos are not pink. Well, flamingos are pink, but when they're born, they're initially gray or white. A blue whale's tongue can weigh as much as a car. In the animal kingdom, the blue whale has the biggest tongue. It usually weighs around 5,400 pounds. Sharks are older than Saturn's rings. Saturn's rings are only about 400 million years old. Sharks have existed for at least 450 million years, from the late Ordovician period. Frilled sharks. The frilled shark is an unusual shark with a prehistoric appearance that dwells in open water and spends the majority of its time in deep, dark waters. Nearly 7 feet, or 2 meters long, its long cylindrical body has fins that are far back on the body. The frilly appearance of the gill slits on the frilled shark gives it its name. The ecology of the frilled shark is poorly understood because they're rarely seen in the wild. Fireflies. A substance called luciferin, oxygen, and the chemical that powers cellular activity are combined in particular organs in the abdomens of fireflies to produce light. A firefly's light display is mostly used to attract a mate. Trilobites. Marine arthropods known as trilobites are extinct beings. It has been hypothesized that horseshoe crabs, spiders, and scorpions are their closest living relatives. Camel spiders. The camel spider is not a true spider. They belong to the arachnida class, just like spiders, but they're actually sulpigids. Blue-ringed octopus. 4 extremely dangerous octopus species belonging to the genus Hapaloclena, known as blue-ringed octopus, can be found in coral reefs and tide pools in the Pacific and Indian Ocean. Box jellyfish. The box jelly is the most developed type of jellyfish. On each of the 4 sides of its bell, they feature 6-eyed clusters. Each cluster has 2 eyes with complex lenses, retinas, irises, and corneas. However, since they lack central nervous systems, it is unclear how they perceive what they see. The box jellyfish's venom is among the most deadly in the world, containing toxins that attack the heart, nervous system, and skin cells. The fossa. The fossa is a close relative to the mongoose and can only be found in Madagascar's jungles. The fossa is a slender-bodied cat-like animal that may grow up to be 6 feet long from the tip of its nose to the end of its tail, and weighing about 26 pounds. They're also really cute in my opinion. Moon jellyfish. The moon jellyfish, often known as moon jelly, is present in all oceans. It is identifiable by the 4 circles that can be seen throughout their translucent white bell and is around the size of a plate. Jellyfish are composed of 95% water and lack a heart, brain, and blood. Amber. Since the Neolithic era, petrified tree resin known as amber has been prized for its color and innate beauty. Sometimes you can find fossilized bugs inside of it. The honey badger. Honey badgers are linked to other badgers, skunks, otters, and ferrets. These omnivores get their name for their love for honey and honeybee larvae. Lake Erie. The 4th largest of North America's 5 Great Lakes is Lake Erie. It serves as the border between Ontario, Canada, to the north, and Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and New York. The Pac-Man frog. The genus Ceratophorus belongs to the Ceratophidae family of frogs. These cute red frogs are reminiscent of the Pac-Man video game character with a big mouth and round body. The Dead Sea. Due to its high salt content and powerful currents, swimming in its waters might be perilous. The Dead Sea is almost 9 times saltier than the Pacific Ocean with a salt content of 290. The Tomato frog. Although they look cute, tomato frogs can exude a poisonous substance through their skin. They also have the ability to inflate themselves like pufferfish to frighten off predators. Fatso, or keyboard cat. Keyboard cat is an internet meme that most of you have probably seen. In 1984, Charlie Schmidt created a film featuring his cat Fatso appearing to play a song on the keyboard. Unfortunately, Fatso passed away in 1989. As a result, Schmidt adopted 2 more cats to continue Fatso's legacy. I'm not really sure why this is on the biology iceberg, but I appreciate Fatso, so I'm fine with it. Tartar sauce, or grumpy cat. Like keyboard cat, I'm not sure why this is on here, but it's okay. Tartar sauce, often known as grumpy cat, was a famous American cat. She was renowned for having a perpetually grumpy expression on her face because of an underbite and feline dwarfism. She unfortunately passed away in 2019. Zeus, the Great Dane. Zeus, a Great Dane from Muskego, Michigan, was well known for being dubbed the world's tallest dog by the Guinness Book of World Records in 2012 and 2013. He was 3'7". The "Okay, I pull up" meme. Worms are very old. The Cambrian period, or 270 million years before the emergence of dinosaurs, is when petrified worm tunnels were discovered, according to research published in the scientific journal Geology. Who knows, maybe worms will outlive humans too. The goblin shark. This mutant monster is called the goblin shark. It is the sole surviving member of the 125-million-year-old family Mitsurcinidae. Fortunately, these scary-looking sharks don't attack humans. Unless provoked. Flashlight fish. Flashlight fish have bioluminescent structures that can be found behind their eyes. These glowing bacteria-containing organs can be quote-unquote turned off by the fish by placing a dark cover over them. The Dumbo octopus. The Dumbo octopus is the deepest living octopus species known to science. It may be found in the open ocean at depths of at least 13,000 feet, or 400 meters, and possibly considerably deeper. The coelacanth. The coelacanth species was recovered in 1938 off the coast of South Africa after being thought to have vanished for over 65 million years earlier. In the Animal Crossing world, these things are pretty common. Arabian boa. The Arabian boa is just a funny-looking snake with eyes on the top of its head. Electric catfish. To startle its unwary prey, the electric catfish can generate up to 300 volts of energy. This catfish doesn't simply resist its own shocks, but it also doesn't appear to be susceptible to any external shocks. It's kind of terrifying. The Japanese spider crab. The Japanese spider crab is one of the biggest spider crabs around the world and may reach a maximum length of at least 12 feet and a maximum weight of 41 pounds. They're very lanky. The blue button. The blue button jellyfish, despite having a jellyfish-like appearance, are not actually jellyfish. They're actually related to the Portuguese man-o'-war. Blue buttons do not have a lethal sting, but they can cause skin irritation when touched. Fugu. Fugu is a Japanese dish that consists of pufferfish. Haida ermine. The Haida ermine is a mustoid species known to be found in Alaska and Canada. These were recently discovered in 2021. They're really cute too, they're like mini sea otters. Bingus. Bingus is a hairless sphinx cat that went viral in 2020. Like keyboard cat and grumpy cat, I do not know why Bingus is on here, but he's Bingus, so I guess he has a spot anywhere. The Dubai Mall Underwater Zoo. Dubai Aquarium and Underwater Zoo is home to thousands of aquatic animals comprising over 140 species. It's pretty cool, like everything else in Dubai. Coral Triangle Day. On June 9th, the day known as Coral Triangle Day was created to honor and promote ocean protection and conservation. It was created to promote protection for the Coral Triangle, which is the world's center for marine biodiversity. On June 9th, make sure to wish your homies a happy Coral Triangle Day. The Sargasso Sea. A large area of the water known as the Sargasso Sea is named after the Sargassum genus of drifting seaweed. White marlin, porbeagle sharks, dolphinfish, and threatened and endangered eels also reproduce in the Sargasso Sea. Tanuki. Tanuki, commonly referred to as the Japanese raccoon dog, is a type of canid that is unique to Japan. Tanuki are regarded as magical beings with supernatural abilities in the Japanese mythology. Tanuki are portrayed in the earliest stories as terrible spirits who control people and bring bad luck. I just think they're really cute. Japanese snow monkeys. The Japanese snow monkey, commonly referred to as the Japanese macaque, is a type of old-world terrestrial monkey that is indigenous to Japan. At certain parks in Japan, you can see these monkeys bathing in hot springs. Louis Pasteur. Louis Pasteur was a French chemist and microbiologist renowned for his discoveries of the principles of vaccination, microbial fermentation, and pasteurization. The latter was named after him. The Door to Hell. The Darvaza gas crater is a burning natural gas field that collapsed into a cavern in Turkmenistan. It is also known as the Door to Hell, Gates of Hell, or Shining of Karakum. Hundreds of gas fires are lighting up the crater's bottom and rim. There are few details regarding the cause of the sinkhole, but it is believed that Soviet scientists lit it on fire to expel toxic fumes after the ground beneath a drilling rig fell away. The Eye of the Sahara. The Eye of the Sahara is a symmetrical dome of eroded volcanic and sedimentary rock. The largest rings are the outermost, which are 40 kilometers or 25 miles broad. The many rock layers are exposed over much of the dome because of the persistent northeasterly breezes that keep it clear of the sand. The International Union for Conservation of Nature, or IUCN. The International Union for Conservation of Nature is an international organization dedicated to the preservation of nature and the wise use of natural resources. It is involved in activism, education, field initiatives, research, data collection, and analysis. Since its creation in 1964, the International Union for Conservation of Nature's Red List of Threatened Species has grown to become the most thorough information resource on the state of animal, fungus, and plant species global conservation. It is a powerful instrument to inform and spark action for biodiversity, conservation, and policy change. That was the last one of the second tier, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. I apologize in advance because it's going to take me a long time to publish the other parts of this series, because it takes a long time for me to research and read it all and script it out and all that. But I really appreciate all the people that went all the way to the end of this video and watched it. This is my first time doing this kind of thing, and I just really appreciate your time. Have a good day, and I'll see you guys later.